Good afternoon. Wow, start again. Hit stars. No. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining me on my live. As you probably noticed, I didn't advertise. I advertised I was doing a live today, but I have now discovered a way around it because when I advertise guests that are coming on, guests normally get hounded. So I just bring them on as a surprise now, and it's the best way. Well, Amber, first, I'm going to say thanks to everyone for joining me, and thanks to Amber for coming on. I've been following you, Amber, for quite some time now, and because of the charity that you're an ambassador to, I think it's wonderful. Anyway, thanks for giving up your Saturday afternoon and joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on here today. And it would be nice. Hi, everyone, whoever's watching.
What are you normally busy on a Saturday?
Just eat. Normally, I spend Saturday afternoon with my sister. That I said today, I can't spend Saturday afternoon with you today. She said, that's okay, we'll do it next week.
Well, I was reading up. I mean, I've been reading up on you. I'll talk about your book later, but I would never say that we all. I think our journeys in the military, transition from the military to civilian street, can be a little bit difficult. You suffer with the same sort of illness as I do, and people call it post-traumatic stress disorder. I now try and see. I know my triggers now, so I know what to avoid. Have you
Same.
Have you learned that?
I have. It took a few years to learn my triggers, and then sometimes I still get the odd one. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know that was a trigger, but I'm still learning. But isn't it so much easier when you know what your triggers are? You can navigate.
Yeah. Well, like me, you've got a son, and I had to bite the. Hate this phrase. I'm just going to make it up. I had to bite the bullet with fireworks because I used to hate them, and then I had to go one night and just stand there and take it and get so that he could enjoy them. I mean, there's nothing worse than telling your son you can't go and do something because it triggers you.
Do you know what? When you say that, this November just gone is the first time I bit the bullet, and my son's now 12. My poor boy, and I've never really taken him to fireworks except when he looks out the bedroom window to see them. And I took them, and I was with my mum, my sister, and I like dived to the floor and like crawled like back to the car. And my mum went, "Do you realise what you're doing right now?" And I was like, "No, what?" And she's like, "You're like crouched, like proper crouched." And I was like, "I'm just going to sit in the car." And my sister stayed out with Brandon.
But it's great though, the fact that it doesn't happen overnight. You have to go through a part of life where you struggle a lot, which then gives you the strength to sort of move that forward. So, have you got a dog?
I did, but he passed away in was it October? Bless him. But he was really old, and he was a rescue dog. So,
wow. I mean, wow. So talking to Mira, my dog that I love passed away in November.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing just on the post. Yeah. So sorry.
Are you going to get a new one? Are you going to get a new dog?
This year I probably won't, because I've got a lot happening this year and I won't have as much time. But as soon as I'm like things are calmed down over the next few years, then yeah, definitely. I've always had a dog, and this is the first time I haven't.
I know. I struggled. I'm going to be honest with you. I cried my eyes out for about 2 weeks when my dog went. Sorry, I'm just proper story. Sorry. I mean, I did because I miss my dog more than I miss my friends. Does that sound weird? But I would have swapped them all to get him back.
No, it doesn't sound. I mean, it's like they're there. They're your companion, and when you're stressed or you're triggered or you're just, they're there unconditionally, right? They don't.
Yeah.
And they love you, and
well,
you don't see your friends that often as you get older because everyone's lives are so busy. But your dog it's like another child.
Well, I mean, I get up in the morning, and when my dog used to see me, it would run around in circles at me for about 5 minutes because it was so excited. It's the only living thing that's ever been so excited to see my face.
What breed was your dog?
It was a mixture between a Lhasa and a Shih Tzu. I mean, there's loads of photographs of it on my community page on YouTube, which I'm annoyed about you because I only found out that you've actually got your own YouTube channel.
I do, but I don't really advertise it. It's just I upload little videos every now and then. And
well, I think that my little community here can hopefully go across and help your channel grow. That's one of my fortes, Amber. I like to push people's channels, and once they get past 1,000 subscribers and a couple of thousand watch stars, they then get monetized and they start earning money from it. So that's something
That
I
would
like
be
to do.
helpful.
Yeah. Well, that's what we'll do then. You should, and here's it. I know this. Here's a tip. You've done loads of podcasts, yeah?
Yeah, tons, yeah.
You need to get in touch with the people that did whether it's Granite Zero, I know him, he's a good guy, whether it's Phil down at Armed Forces Radio, get in touch with him and just get permission by email. Can I please upload our interview on my YouTube? And if you get them all on there, yeah, just as long as you've got written permission from them. I mean, YouTube, if you stick on someone's podcast, YouTube will normally send you a message going, do you know about this? Just respond and say, I have permission from the copyright owner, and because it'll start building your audience. So start to do that.
Yeah.
Get them all, put them into one place, centralize them. I mean, I did that with GB News. I get in touch with the floor producers every time I do an interview, and I get the clip and I stick it on my playlist. And so it helps things grow. That's all it is, Amber.
And you need to build that community to get your messages out there. And yeah, you've got to build it to help more people as well.
So listen, Royal Army Medical Corps.
Yes.
2005 to 2016. That's in the height of Iraq and Afghanistan.
It was Afghanistan, 2007, Op Herrick 6. I mean, that was one with Ross Kemp.
Yes, yeah, I wasn't there though. I'm going to be honest. I was on Herrick 4 and Herrick 8, so I didn't do that one. But they were. Do you know what? I'm going to be honest. They were all horrific. I don't think anyone got it easy. They didn't. It was shocking.
I don't think so. Those first, like, they say we had nearer, didn't we, where it was really impacted, and it was like from the 2004 to I think 2010. I think them ones were like.
Oh yeah. Were you? So tell us, were you working in Bastion, or were you out on the ground doing your bits and pieces? What was your
out on the ground? So I was attached to the RTR boys, Royal Tank Regiment, and that was in Fob Rob down near the Sang Valley. So we were there, and then from there I went to Greshk with what was known as a WFR, the Worcestershire, but they've been amalgamated now, haven't they, to something else? I believe.
I know all those places. I've Fob Robinson. The artillery used to base themselves there. And
yes, right at the top, and we were down at Snake Pit.
I went in there with my guys. There was no fighting, but I went in there with my guys after a battle had taken place, and the Americans had completely just left everything, and there was ISOs containers on the left hand side, and we went in there and we found, I mean, crates and crates of pop, MREs, chocolate, cornflakes. It was just filled with, I actually dumped some of my military kit just to fill it with food.
Yeah, I was so good because we worked with the American Special Forces, and they used to love our MREs for some reason, and I would be like, well, can we swap them? And so me and his name was Aman, and we would swap our food, and I would get like jelly beans and everything he would give me. And I was like, that's what reminds me of Fob Rob is jelly beans, because a mom would always give me some jelly beans, the American Special Forces guy. And I'd be like, oh.
Was it still there, or what, it may have been built, but at the very, very back of Fob Robinson, the far right hand side, you had these little wooden shetty hangers, but there was also like a big jacuzzi there built. Did you see it?
No, I did not. All I ever got as far was the Portaloos.
They built the big jacuzzi. The Americans built the big jacuzzi there, and used to sit there with their weapons behind their heads and just. It was just amazing. I never
was
got
it in the artillery department?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't really. I only think I ever went in there once in the artillery section. Otherwise, I was always down the Snake Pit and near the Afghan army section. I was near there. Yeah.
I mean, and you spoke about Goresh. Goresh was full price on it. I mean, I remember
full price, yeah.
The tents there. I remember them KBR coming in one day, and then within 3 days they built that little naffy, and I was like, how did they do that in 3 days?
Oh, so that was the naffy. Yeah, because they had the dog handlers section by the naffy, and then they had what they called the death tent, didn't they, with all the bodies right near the naffy.
Yeah.
I used to love going in that little naffy, and I remember the song Rihanna Umbrella being played
Oh yeah,
constantly. And then
God.
from Gresh, I went to Kabul with the pioneers, and I did some ops with special forces in Kabul as well, a couple of ops of them,
God.
which was interesting.
This is why you returned broken, because of a lot of that stuff. Yeah, it's not nice.
Yeah. I wasn't in Bastion long. I mean, the only time I was in Bastion was, the first 2 weeks when you have to climatize. And then I would go fly into Bastion before I flew to so you have a few days, don't you, flying from each place. And I just remember playing volleyball once when we popped through Bastion, which was quite fun. I was like, oh, some downtime. And then I had a couple of days before R&R in Bastion where I just was like helping out in the ambulance crew. But I
Oh,
wasn't in there long at all.
I didn't like it. I mean, Bastion was whenever it was first being built. I remember flying in the C-130 originally. As we came down to land, I looked out the window and there was like 10 green tents, 9x9 12. There was nothing there, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
Wow.
And there was nothing. There was nothing there. Honestly, there was civilian contractors driving around in a water truck, dropping water out to keep the dust down, and that was it. I think I spent about 3 days there, and then we flew by Chinook into Sangin. We get dropped off
Yeah.
at Rob. We dropped off at Fob Rob, and then we tabbed down into Sangin. But that was before a single bullet was fired. Actually, that was quite chilled. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine that's quite chill. Yeah, do you know what I hate most about going into Bastion? Putting your beret on and being like, you go from the ground to back in Bastion, you're like, oh, I've got to be prim and proper now. And I was
I
like,
hated it.
I'm really not in this mind frame for this.
There was so many fights and arguments, and just queuing up for food. Where I mean,
Yes.
you're coming off right. You're coming off the back of a Chinook, having done an operation on the ground. Now you're covered in sweat, but the downdraft of the blades makes the dust stick to you. So
Oh, yeah.
you walk around to the cookhouse and you're queuing up, and before you go in, there's a sink you can get washed on. It's not, and you'd see, I won't mention the units, but you see certain officers just looking at you and going, "You shouldn't be allowed in here." And you're like, "Why?" I mean, they've got creases everywhere, and you're washing your
Yeah.
hands, and you're getting yourself cleaned up, and they just don't want you to sit anywhere near them. And you're like, that used to piss off everyone, actually.
Well, yeah, you're starving. You've just come back from the ground. We just want a meal. Oh, and the flies.
I
You
know.
just triggered my memory actually, because my memory is really bad. And I just got the vision of the sink and then the tent and then the lining up
Well,
in Bastion. I just remembered.
there's things that I chat to people about it, and I go, "Oh, I don't remember that." You've got to remember. I mean, you were out in the ground. You've seen a lot of traumatic stuff, but you've seen what you've seen. You probably came back in. You probably wrote a statement based on what you've seen, and the other people with you, their statements are all different because they've seen it from a different angle. And
Isn't it funny?
yeah, and that's where it's like, that never happened. I never seen it like that. And you're like, well, I was at this angle, I could see this, and then all this fights start to happen. The fights all happen when you get back from those tours. That's not what I seen.
Yeah.
You're like, well, that's what I seen. And
It's funny you say that because I've writing an autobiography which Film Vault Group are publishing at some point this year. But as I'm going through it, like I was writing about some memories in Gresh, and I spoke to my friend Sarah. She doesn't mind mentioning her name because she said I could mention it in the book. And she was in Gresh with me, and she goes,
yeah.
"Do you remember this incident and this incident?" I was like, "Not a clue." I was like, "You sure it's definitely me?" She went, 100%. There's pictures of us, and I was like, "It's gone. I don't remember a single thing."
It's
and
crazy.
I was like, "Do you remember this? Do you remember that?" She's like, "No." And I'm like, how can we both remember different incidents? And it's weird.
Well,
it's what trauma does, isn't it? Blocks.
have you been to first of all, I know you suffer PTSD. Have you had treatment from that?
I had a bit of EMDR with Colchester, DCMH, but I found that it didn't work. Actually, as you say that, I'm going to hypnotherapy tomorrow. So I'm trying hypnotherapy with Carl. He's a YouTuber, ex-forces as well.
All right.
I'll link you up with him. I'll give you his contact details. But yeah, I'm going to try some hypnotherapy with him tomorrow at my first session.
Amber, whenever you first leave, you get diagnosed with it. In fact, it's hard to get diagnosed, but when you get diagnosed with it, I went to Colchester. I had Leslie Perry. She was the top woman at DCMH, and she did EMDR with me as well. And I'm gonna be honest, I would sit there and I would watch this thing with my eyeballs. I would go, I would do it, and then she would go, "What are you feeling?" And I used to sit there and go, and Leslie, I don't know what the fuck you're doing to me. I said, "This doesn't help."
Follow my finger, do this, and you're like, what?
Did you find though that after that night your sleep was restless?
Yeah, I remember doing one session and then driving back from Colchester to Wimbish, where I was based with the EOD, and I had to pull on the side of the road. I just suddenly broke down in tears.
Yeah, it hits you after done it. I mean,
yeah,
you're sitting there and you're thinking this is just useless, but it takes time. And I noticed though that whenever we were chatting and I was explaining a certain events during this whole thing, I was able to remember things which were outside of my peripheral. I was able to, I found it all strange, but I don't know, I think I seen her for months. She was fantastic. And after that, I still hadn't dealt with the trauma.
Same.
So I went and I don't know. I mean, I think I tried the whole top shelf of the pharmacy. I kept getting new, here, try this, diflufenic, different stuff they give you. And I found one of the tablets, I can't remember the name of it, one of the tablets that they kept giving me, gave me anxiety and heart pulse patients. And I was sweating and I was like, I hate to use this phrase, but I was sweating like an R. Won't say the rest of the world. But I was like sweating, going, what? I don't feel right. And it wasn't until I decided to go cold turkey off the medication that I gained control again.
I'm exactly the same. I had years and years of trying all these antidepressants, all these, and they turned around and said, this family doesn't mix for you, because whenever I took certain ones, I would actually get more suicidal than I already was. And then I was getting deeper in depression, but it was like I was almost numb to every emotion but anger at one point. And I was like, there's something not right with me. And I was like, I'm a bubbly, naturally caring person. For me to feel only anger is really weird. I was like desensitized to I had no empathy, was the right word. I had no empathy. And I was like, this isn't right. And same as you, the only thing I have every now and then is sleeping tablets when there's an emergency, and that is all I'll touch.
Do you know what? It's fascinating listening about this. I had no empathy. Now, for people watching this, you've got to bear in mind that I never did your job. I did a different job. Your job, it's quite shit in a way that anytime you're called forward, it's to deal with someone that's been blown up. But no one ever went, come here, what do you want? Cup of tea. It was always, come here, fix this, right? So
yeah,
you had a, without trying to be not, you had a shitty role that you needed to fulfill to help people. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean it, as a platoon sergeant, having my medic, I had a girl called Kaylee Honeygold beside me. She was a brilliant medic.
I recognise the name actually, yeah.
She got, I mean, my friend did a story about her called The Angel of Helmand back in 2006, actually. She was a double page, but I think I kept the paper. But basically, for instance, I had her with me, and whenever we had incidents in front of us, and a sergeant major in the parachute regiment got shot. I mean, he sort of crested himself on a hill. He took a round through the side, but it went through all his organs, and he lay down. And I remember being screamed at. She went to get up and run forward, and I grabbed her and pulled her down. I went, no, you're not. And she wanted to go and help. And I was like, you're not. Stay there. And I was, whether it was a man or woman, I didn't care. I was so fearful of my medic, who's vitally important, most important person on the battlefield to me. So I was so scared of her getting shot.
Yeah.
never let your medics go forward unless you've won the firefight, suppressed the enemy, and you've got a foothold. So for her, who wanted to dive straight in and help that guy, the bravery was unbelievable of her. But she trying to hold her back all the time. She's like, I can do this, I can do that. I'm like, you can't do it all. And my guys need to win this first before you go forward and help. Anyway, unfortunately, that sergeant major died, but she was broken. I mean, I seen her drag. I mean, we brought him. She helped me drag him back into a sort of like a fold in the ground, and she was working away on him for quite some time until we had. You have to stop. I mean, but that she's fun, and then she helped me lift the sergeant major up and carry him. I mean, she was amazing. She did it so many times. I mean, I had one of my full screws go down with heat exhaustion, and she went and fitted him with an IV straight away. And then my full screw said, "Please don't report this when we get back in, because they'll take me off." She helped us out. She got us through that battle. Medics get to see. I mean, and that's what people forget about, Amber. Medics don't get called forward for anything nice.
That is, and they always, for years, you go, "Oh, women aren't on the front line." Well, I was patrolling with WFR infantry guys, but all they see is the infantry guys. Lucky, when I was patrolling with WFR, Andy was my basic training instructor, and he was a section commander on the patrols, and so he was very protective of me, because I was like his protege in basic training to now be on tour with him, and it was very ironic, and he was very protective. But they go, females aren't on the front line. We very much are. And that's where people get that wrong, very much so. Just because, well, I think they now joined the infantry, haven't they? Females.
I think so. I'm not, I mean, I'm probably a little bit like you. I think the minute I left, I sort of cut ties with it and just tried to move on. But I don't know what's happening in training. I keep getting calls. It's crazy, isn't it? But I know, I haven't spoken to her in years, but I know Michelle Norris as well. She is an animal, and I mean that in a good way.
Yes, I know Michelle. Yes, she is. She's a machine.
Yeah, that I suppose that's probably a better way of putting it. I shouldn't have said she's an animal. I meant she's an animal as in she's so strong and robust. I mean, and this is the thing about women on the front line. We look, for instance, whenever I was trying to find a photograph of you, Amber, for my thumbnail, I'm gonna be honest, every one of your photographs are glamorous, and I'm like, I need she must have a shit one somewhere. I need to find something. I mean, so
I don't know. I look bad today because I overslept, so I got puffy eyes today.
So here, you struggled when you left your transition. Did you leave through medical grounds, or did you decide just to leave yourself?
Medically discharged with PTSD, and I've had surgery on both of my knees, ACL operations on both my knees. So as well, I now can't lift men on my shoulders like I could do at one point. And yes,
maybe that's a good thing.
It is, but you know that self-pride thing. I think it's all ego, right? And I'm like, I want to be able to pick someone up on my back like I did before. And now I'm like, oh, my knees can't hack it. And I hate it. I'm like, I'm so weak now.
I've got a message coming here from a veteran that says,
okay, go for it.
This might sound bad, but with women close to the front line, us men feel the need to protect them. Sad, but true. I get what he's saying. I get what he's saying. I had this chap, basically I flew to Afghanistan in 2000, when was it, 2006, 2008? 2008 actually, as platoon sergeant. I'd just been promoted and I took over platoon, and our medic was Kaylee Honeygold. She is a beautiful looking lady. She really is. Very professional, but she's stunning. And I tagged on to the platoon sergeant's patrol. I watched everything for a couple of days, and then in the end I had to sit there. I went and spoke to my sergeant major Frankie about I had an issue, and then I went and sat with Kaylee, and we had a chat with Kaylee, and she agreed with me. So then I sent Kaylee off to just have a coffee and just chill, and I sat down with my platoon, and I had to tell them, listen guys, I've been watching from afar what's going on in this platoon. Now I'm going to point this out. Kaylee is a fantastic medic, and you all know she's a fantastic medic. But I can see some of you running around there with your tongue out and the way you're behaving. I don't find it to be. I just told them I don't find it to be professional. So either you get a grip of yourselves and you treat her like one of the blokes, or I'm going to have her removed from the platoon. And they're all like, "Oh, you can't do that." I says, "I fucking can do that, and that's what I'm going to do." But I had had this chat with Killy first, and she sort of felt a little bit uncomfortable around 2 or 3 of the guys.
Yeah.
So, as you know, so she felt a little bit uncomfortable. But the minute I had that chat, my 3 full screws were awesome. They were very robust, and they were like, "Don't worry, we'll square away our own guys." And from that moment onwards, wasn't an issue at all. She fitted in. She always did fit in. I was just wary of a couple of little leech boys I had that were getting all like idiots, and I just wanted.
Which you get in every regiment. I mean,
yeah.
Same. I've had incidents. Being a young female, you do get everyone wants to protect you, but also it doesn't matter what you look like. I think if you're on the more attractive side, you get it worse. But I think no matter what, if you're a female attached to 100 blokes, there's going to be one that's going to be a bit more pesty. And I think that happens in the civilian street as well. It doesn't mean just because we're military. If I had it in Goresh, I would go into the gym into Goresh, and most of the boys would follow me. And then apparently my name was in every Sangha, and which I had never been in the Sangha. I didn't actually do any staggering on in Goresh, but I was told by one of the top dogs, and they were told to paint over my name in the Sangha of like, I want to marry Amber, I'm in love with Amber. And apparently I was in every single one. They were all handed a bottle of paint one day each, go and paint that and get rid of it. And we're told that's not happening.
Well, it happens. I would have snapped that that'd be my guys, because that'd have been while you're writing someone's name in the Sangha, you're not watching your arcs. So
yes, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Important things here.
Exactly. But Goresh, I like Goresh. It was out on its own. You had a few. You would hear the odd gun battle from Goresh town, the odd thing happening in the distance. But it was it wasn't bad though. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed my little time in Goresh. The gym wasn't bad. The internet sort of area it was okay actually. The food in the cookhouse was nice, but there was no hardcover. Everything was a tent.
Yes, exactly. Everything was a tent. Like we had an ISIL container actually, but that was just for med supplies. Yeah. That was all we had it for. I enjoyed patrolling Goresh. Obviously, the odd few patrols were not nice, but overall, they were peacekeeping patrols, and we would be with the children, and like it can get dangerous, of course, but it was more of we wouldn't be walking around like ready to go. You know, it was more relaxed and.
Well, I didn't like
patrolling.
I didn't like patrolling out of Goresh because it was some distance to the town and back. I used to like getting dropped off while patrolling back. Well, Amber, try having ginger hair under that heat. I'll tell you now. Used to melt.
Hey, you know my name's Amber because when I was born, I had a tinge of red.
Oh.
Yeah. Mm.
So,
and my brother, my twin brother, he was ginger growing up, a little bit ginger.
You see, we make great warriors.
We do.
So, what made you? Obviously, whenever you were living with PTSD, it's a struggle because having PTSD is basically having anxiety 24/7 forever.
Yes.
And trying to get the beta blockers to keep your heart rate down whenever you're. I still don't like people. I'm going to be honest. I hate being around people.
Same.
That's why I do these type of things. I don't have to talk to anyone. I mean, I've got a circle of about 6 people around me. That's all I need in my life. And I don't trust anyone. I'd rather have dogs than people. I just don't. I mean, I've learned to stay away, but that is the thing that you probably have as well because of it. You don't like being in crowded places either.
I'm like last year I was doing some filming for the music we were writing and an American show, and we were in clubs because we had to perform, and I had to keep this persona almost that I'm calm. But I remember coming back from that trip, and I had to take 2 weeks. I was exhausted because the anxiety was like, and I broke down in
Yeah.
tears at one point because I was just like, oh, it's too much. But it is the clubs. I isolate so much. And people don't really seem to get it, I don't think. But I've
Mm,
been isolated for years, and I might go and see friends every now and then, but it's mainly my siblings. Is That's my close group, is my siblings, and
yeah.
without them, I love being on my own, and I
I
hate
know.
going
I know.
clubbing.
Do you know
And
what? I am my best friend. I mean,
yeah, are we loners?
we're all learners. We're all. I mean, I think that's it. I mean, if you don't love yourself, there's no point. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
alcohol's a big thing for me. I can drink beer only. Now I can drink beer, or I can have 2 glasses of red wine. What I can't do is have a couple of beers and go into spirits. Because the minute the spirits mixes with the beer in my head, I swear to God, I it's like an explosion, and I just go. I could be thinking all these things about people. Don't like
Mm-hmm.
you, you're good. I don't like you, you're good. See when all that mixes, I'm like, I don't like you, but it just comes out, and I'm like,
I don't drink actually. I stopped.
good.
I I might have 1 or 2 glasses of something every 2 years. And I mean, like, so with that trip I recently did with the music stuff, I
Mm.
had like 1 glass, and but they don't take me much on the cheap date, you see. But
Oh,
I don't like the feeling.
yeah. Well, I
I feel
get
out of
you.
control.
Well, I've got a problem. I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, like, my
Don't we
podcast.
all?
My podcast is sponsored by a cider company and a rum company, and I've got a whiskey company sponsor me now, and I drink their stuff. So I start off going, "You want to drink GH? You want to
What whiskey
drink
is it?
GHQ gin?" And then after 4 glasses, you're going, "You want to drink Soldier on coffee?" I know.
That's brilliant.
Or there's the cider. I spoke to Claire the other
Yeah.
day, and she went, "I've sent you a box of cider and 12 bottles in it. She let me know when it arrives there." And I'm like, okay. I mean, everyone else, everyone else gets financial sponsors. I get alcohol.
It's like, oh man. That's typical, isn't it? When you're not a massive drinker except for certain things. And then that'd
Jesus.
be ironically would happen to me. I'd get sponsored for alcohol and I'd be like,
I
what do I do with
know.
it?
I mean, I used to do a Sunday Night Live at 7. I haven't done it in a while, but I used to do something. And I'd start off by going, tonight's podcast is sponsored by Burnt Direct Cider. Blah, 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 blah. It's lovely. At the end of the podcast, I'm going, bollocks to it.
That'd be me, honestly. It's because I don't drink that often at all. And when I do, it's only 1 or 2 glasses. I'm
Yeah.
like tipsy after 1 glass. And it's embarrassing, actually.
Just try and make it last. I mean, Beck's Blue, you can't even see it's Beck's Blue if you hold the bottle properly, but you can now go into most.
Yeah,
You know what's pissed me off about non-alcoholic stuff though, Amber? I'm going to have a rant now.
go on.
You
Go
go
on,
into
get
a
it out.
bar, and you'd get, I'll have a bottle of, just say, I'm going to say a bottle of Beck's. Okay, it's about £3.50, I think. No, no. Oh, I'll have a bottle of Beck's Blue, non-alcoholic, and they go £3.75. And you're like, are you taking the piss?
It's more expensive, isn't it?
Non-alcohol stuff in bars is more expensive than alcohol. It's like a
Yeah,
piss take. It's cheaper.
yeah.
It's cheaper to smash someone up than it is than just walk away and sit and have a. It's just, and bars know that they take the piss out of people that are trying to be healthy.
Hmm. I just always, I've got one here. I'm a big, it's great for your anxiety, by the way.
What's that?
Red Bull.
I read today that energy drink companies are going to ban energy drinks for anyone under the age of 15 in the UK.
That's really good. They
Uh,
so they should as well. I think that's really good. Yeah.
but do you know what that means though?
Higher tax and they're going to be more expensive.
See this here bottle of Prime, which is about £55 a bottle. No one will be
Oh
able
my
to drink.
God, that Prime. Yeah.
I mean, whenever my son says, "Daddy, can I?" It wasn't really out, and sending off for a bottle of Prime, and it's because you don't want to let your kids down. You really don't. So sending off for a
Yeah.
bottle, and the pricks were selling it on Amazon for like £27 a bottle.
And lining up outside shops just to get a bottle of Prime.
I know when it first hit here, I begrudged buying it, but I will be honest,
Same.
I bought 2 bottles, and people are going to hate me for this. I bought 2 bottles for £4.50. The shop was selling it for, and my son wanted it. And I'm going to be honest, maybe I'm a bad parent, but I just didn't want to. Everyone was having it, and I thought I'll get him at £9 for 2 bottles, and that was the last time. They now sell it though in Morrison's for like £2 a bottle now.
I was about to say that. I seen that yesterday when I took my granddad shopping. I seen them in like a tub and they were like really cheap. I was like, and I said to my granddad literally yesterday, I was like, they used to be like £10 a bottle or something stupid. And he was like, really for that? And I was like, yeah. But I didn't buy my son one for ages. I was refused to spend that amount on a bottle of drink for a while.
Yeah. Right. Let's
But
talk
that's
about
better
your
things.
books. Your books on. I've seen your book. Your book's on Amazon. I do have a copy of your book actually.
Yes.
I've had it for some time. Yeah.
And
Veterans Poems.
that's the new volume. Where's the camera?
I haven't seen the new. I haven't got the new volume. I'll have to get it. It's on Amazon. The new one.
Yeah. So the official release was it was meant to be a few days ago, but we're just having some problems getting some links, so we've moved it till next week, the 14th, because we know all the links will be there available. That's volume 2.
Right. Okay. Your first book came out on the. I researched. I'm quite good. 28th of April last year.
And look, they've got the pocket version, like the military pocket book.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And someone said, "Why is this one so small?" Because they didn't realise, but they've got different measurements.
So it can fit in your cup vest.
Yeah, so it's like the military pocketbook, but yeah, you have to look at the sizes before buying, just because you might end up with a pocket version and then you'll be gutted when it's not the same size.
What I like about that, Amber, is the fact you have written that. It's filled with poems, and the fact is, it's to raise awareness for helping homeless veterans.
Yes.
It raises awareness, and proceeds go to help vulnerable veterans that end themselves, that find themselves in dire straits. So I mean, I think it's very selfless. It's fantastic.
And with the help of Film Vault Group, because they've published it and they've been amazing. So none of us are being selfless. Every single penny goes to help homeless veterans, which is
fantastic.
Which is great. Fantastic. Yeah. And do you know what I love more about it? The volume 2 has, because I've collaborated poems, haven't I, from different veterans. Volume 2 has poems in there from veterans' children. So it's given a different aspect of how they see their parents for war. And oh my God, I read one of the poems and I was like, ouch.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Right. Just for people in the chat, especially Ham Shackleton, I will put a link to the description of Amber's book. I will pin it at the top of this video once it goes live, guys. Okay. So there we go. Well, when the video goes onto the blah blah blah. There you go.
Yeah. So we sold out a few times on Amazon, a good couple of times with the volume 1. So there'll be a collection of 5 in total. We've got and the third one's already been written, but obviously different release dates. Yeah.
Okay.
So it'll be a collection of books.
Well, why not? I mean, I love collecting books. I don't mind. I hate letting the cat out the bag. A lot of people used to send me books, and here's the thing about reading, Amber.
Yeah.
See, you've got a busy mind. See, you've got busy mind. Because there's no way. It's impossible for someone with PTSD to grab a seat, put their feet up with a coffee, and decide to take the day off reading it because your head's filled with shit. You read it and you go, oh, I'll come back to that. You never get there's so much going on.
Yeah, that's exactly why I've done poems, because I can't sit and read a whole book. I can read one poem and go, I'll get back to that tomorrow.
I know.
And read the other poem. It's not the full. You get the full story in a quick short.
Yeah.
And then you can just.
So your poems all have meanings. They're all based on things that happened to you.
My poems are, yeah. Any poem I've done, they're based on my experiences. Yeah.
When I was a young private, I did what most privates did. I mean, I stood in a Sanger. I won't say which country, and I wrote a poem. I actually wrote a poem back in 1995, and
You have to
you
send
know,
it to me for one of the books.
it's in my head. I won't, I'll never forget it. Things that you do when you're, oh, that rhymes.
Yes. What they say, everyone's got a story in them, everyone's got a song in them, everyone's got a poem in them.
Possibly. I mean, I used to upload, carry, people watch this with, I used to upload me singing. Like, my partner is Filipino, and I'll tell you now, she is mental when it comes to singing. They love microphones, they love karaoke. So,
Oh, I love that.
so I know. I mean, I would be up. This is I'm upstairs and I'm getting shaved or whatever it is, and I come. I'm not getting shaved. I'm tidying up, and I can just hear. All I hear is the like, and that's the microphone going in, and I just listen. And next thing you know, she's on there singing. I don't know, Callum, someone, Callum Scott, and I'm like, wow, and that's her.
Oh, the country singer.
Yeah, that's her singing for 2 hours non-stop, and then
Go on,
I
Dan.
argue
I
with her.
love that.
I know, but I argue. I go, can I sing a song? Not yet.
Oh my God, that's amazing. That's brilliant. They're saying that when I get like that. I don't know if it's a woman's thing or if it's like a release for anxiety, like the dancing and the singing. But I'll go around the house and I'll be like singing, and you'll hear, every now and then you'll hear my boy like, "Mom, that's enough," and I'm like, "Is it that bad?"
Has he started saying things like, Mom, that's embarrassing? Has he?
Oh my, yes. And he's 13 next month as well. So he's really at that time where I'm not cool anymore.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's my son was 13 in January.
Oh, bless his heart. They're only a few months apart.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, and he's taller than me. Well, I've spent through my life lying about my height. I always tell people I'm 6 foot. Now my son's 5'10". He's taller than me, and I'm starting to realize I'm not that tall.
Maybe though, because my sister said to me the other day, she went, "Have you shrunk, Amber?" And I was like, "I'm only 5 foot anyway, so I'm really small." And I thought, goodness gracious, I'll shrink anymore. I'll be like, really short soon. But I thought maybe that's what happens with age. You just
Well, that's nice of you to say that, but I haven't shrunk. I've just lied for many years that I was 6 foot. I mean, I remember back in
love the
years ago,
honesty.
I'm not very good at I suppose I've got used to it now. I'm okay at socializing, but I like to stand back. I don't want to be. I like to stand back and know where my boundaries are. But I met my ex-wife actually on a dating site many years ago. It was called. I don't even know if it's still Plenty of Fish.
I've heard of that. The old POF, is it called, or something?
Something, yeah, Plenty of Fish. Well, here's one which will make you laugh. I don't want to mention people's names, but I was serving abroad at one. Where was I working? I think I was in Baghdad. Might have been 2004, 2005. And we used to do the little bit of taking yourself away from everything. You go to the internet at night time, and people do. The days we had chat rooms, Amber. Remember the chat rooms?
Yes. Oh God, yes.
Do you remember those? And I met a girl on there. She looked stunning, and I thought, wow, no way. She was beautiful. I mean, she called herself at the time Tash the Devil, Natasha, and I thought, oh, amazing. Anyway, we came back on leave. This is shit. Came back on leave, and I was based in Canterbury at the time, and she lived in a little village outside Oxford, called Chipping Norton. I've never been back. So it was during Christmas leave, I decided, she went, "Do you want to come up spend New Year with me?" I'm like, "Great. Oh yeah, we're chatting away, we're getting on really, really well." Brilliant. I got the train up, Old Year's night, headed up. As I had a Nokia 310 mobile phone, right?
Oh, yes.
Exactly, like a brick. And I was on the phone, and I was going, "Where are you?" "I'm on the platform. I'm on the platform." And I got off the train. I had I only had a little backpack with me, nothing else. And she says, "I'm on the train." And I'm like, "I can't see it. I can't see it." And then I seen this arm just waving. and my heart sank.
It wasn't her.
My soul had been ripped out of my body. I looked at her and I thought, you are not the picture on your profile. And
You're not Tasha the devil.
I was so scared, but I was, oh, fuck. So I'm like, oh shit. So I'm like, right. I walked out with her. She went to give me a kiss and I turned my face, so it hit me in the cheek. This is a true story of my son's life. We got into your car. She drove a Mini Cooper, but one of the first versions of it, handed down for the family. We drove to the local bowling green where her family were throwing a party. The local bowling green. I got out and she goes, "This is Trevor," and everyone hugged me and kissed me in the cheek as if they knew me for years. And I was like, "What's going on?" I panicked because everyone was getting drunk.
Were you her boyfriend, so to speak?
Yeah, and everyone was getting drunk.
No.
And I was panicking. I've never panicked this before. Now, I don't want to say what disability she had, but she was a really lovely person, and I was like, okay, this, yep. But I was panicking. My heart was like beating. This is before the days of PTSD. When I think that's where I got PTSD from. no, but but it was coming up to midnight. And there was slow dances and kissing. I went and hid. Went back to your house, pretended to be drunk. Next day was New Year's Day, 1st of January. 1st of January.
No, you had New Year's Eve with her.
Yeah. 1st of January, 2000, I think it was 2005. 2005, maybe? 2006. 1st of January, 2006. And I was like, okay. That night, I went back to the house. I pretended to be pissed so I could fall asleep. The next morning, I got up. The next morning, put my backpack on, and they were like, "Where are you going?" "I'm just going for a walk around the town." "Why are you taking your bag?" "In case I can buy it, in case the shop's open." "Trevor, it's New Year's Day. The shops aren't open." I said, "There's always something. You never know." I walked. There was a fish and chip shop open. I went in the fish and chip shop, and I said, "Please, please, please, can you get me a taxi? Can you get me a taxi? We're to Oxford Station." The guy shut the fish and chip shop because I offered him 50 quid to drive me 6 miles to the train station.
Yeah.
And I just turned. I think I used my phone like a burn phone. I think I dumped it after that. That's an awful story, by the way, but it's a true story. I feel shit.
No, but you got catfish.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, is that what it's called?
Yeah, that's what they call it. You got catfish. So they've put a picture up to make to bring people in.
Yeah.
Like if she'd have said who she was from the start, or actually put a real image of herself, it would have been a different story. But
yeah, I went to Belfast and spent New Year with my parents. I mean,
I don't blame you. You got catfish. She wasn't honest about, and that's her karma. Like I say, the world works in a mysterious way. Well, you had every right to walk out. You had every right not to say hello to her because she catfished you and lied to you.
She did. Is there someone here? What's happened here?
I've never been catfished, actually. I don't have a story to tell for that. Yeah, I've never been catfished.
You've never been catfished? Yeah,
no, but I'm going to go on dating apps though, so.
Yeah, but women have got more sense. Women do not go and meet men they haven't seen a photograph of. They just don't. And you chat. Women have a habit of chatting to people. They go from online in messages to whenever they feel comfortable, they then move from that.
To a video call. A phone call, video call.
Yeah, to WhatsApp. Whenever WhatsApp's comfortable, it goes from a WhatsApp chat to a WhatsApp video call. So you build up that rapport. Men are stupid. Men just go, "Yep, be there, 3 o'clock."
We are sick. A lesson to you men. Be careful.
Yeah.
Because women are just as crazy as men are. You have to be careful.
I know. Women, well, I don't have women, but the women would turn up and see me and go, "Ginger hair, catfished."
No, what did I say the other day? Prince Harry.
Do not. Honestly, I mean, I got demonetized on YouTube for calling Prince Harry a Singer Gunt.
Really?
Yeah, I kept doing it. Thing is, I stopped it. I haven't done it in probably well over a year now.
Mm.
But for about 8 months solid, I did a video every day. And at the end of all my videos, I used to go, this is true. At the end of all my videos, I used to go, and before I go, just to let you know that Prince Harry is still a... And I just crack on. And then it became the known people, go and watch Trev, what he said. But
Yeah.
people love him, reported me non-stop, and end up getting... YouTube weren't happy with me. So he still is a Kadinger Gadunt, but I just don't say it.
I won't say you look like him again.
He hits me.
Oh no, I bet he doesn't really.
Oh, he does,
Yeah,
because I was his grandmother's favorite ginger, and that's why he hates me.
there we are. That's what it is. Oh, God bless. Do you know, I find it really strange on that note that the Queen's gone.
Yeah, I know.
I can't get my head around saying, I'm starting to get used to it now, but it's so hard saying king and country, especially when we signed up. We signed up for Queen and country, and I find that a real difficult transition because we say we'll do 10 for the Queen or whatever, don't we, in the press ups,
Yeah,
and it's just like, it's
but
so hard going, we'll do 10 for the King.
I mean, a lot of people have used that get out clause going, I never swore allegiance to the king. He's not my king. And I'm saying, well, that's a lie, actually, because you swore allegiance to the Queen, her heirs and successors. That is part of the oath. That's on the oath. So, exactly, excuse me. I'm going to be honest, I'm not as fond of King Charles than I was of his mother. I mean, she was fun. I mean, she was so graceful.
Yes, wasn't she? She had so much dignity, and she was just a beautiful. It's such a shame about King Charles. The cancer, hasn't he? I've seen recently on the news.
Yeah,
that's really sad. Really sad.
Of course, it's sad. I mean, I think I heard last year, probably around about November time, that King Charles was getting ready, preparing to step down within the next 6 years. Within the next 6 years, he was going to hand the reins to William anyway, to Prince William. The cancer shock is... It's just another reason, really, for him to... That sounds awful. It's not a reason. It's probably another reality check for him to sort of maybe stop doing all this shit duties and just relax with Queen Camilla and let William take the reins, I think, but that's just my opinion. Yeah.
Because I know people always like, the royal family, they don't do a lot. They just go around like shaking people's hands, but they've got a lot on their shoulders. Like in that position, you've got to remain this kind of dignified and they've been through so much the last few years with Philip, Queen, and like there's so much. And poor William and Harry right now, they've lost their mother and now their father's got cancer, and I can imagine the stress they're going through. It's just so sad, actually.
Well, yeah. I'm very lucky that I still have my parents. So so it's not nice. I mean, growing up without must be shocking. Or growing up without I think people say growing up without your mum's tougher than growing up without your dad. I tend to agree with that. I mean, I'm not being disrespectful towards dads, but mums will have a bond with their children that dads will never ever have, and that's a fact, actually. But it must be difficult. I know that with me and Sebastian's mum, I mean, I see her every day. I mean, we chat every day. We go out for dinners and meals. We still go on holidays together. I mean, we still do.
I love that.
And my ex-wife is best friends with my new partner, and they share.
That's really nice.
They share their own little conversations. I don't get involved in it. I mean, in fact, I think my ex-wife sent a message. That's a lie. I know she sent her a message saying, "There's a karaoke coming up in this bar. Do you want to go with me?"
Karaoke.
I know. That's how you win Gwen's heart. Yeah, karaoke. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you need to have a bond. You need to have that bond with kids, and I'm a firm believer, Amber, that you should never ever try and split your children's heart to make a choice.
No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't have to do that.
And if you are a proper man with a set of bollocks, you bite the cherry and you treat your ex still like a princess in front of your son, so he sees the perfect mum. And that's that.
You do.
Yeah.
My brother and his ex-missus, they've got a boy, and they get on like best friends, even though they're not together, and they're so good. I mean, unfortunately, I don't have my son's father around, but when they do come and see him, I actually got on well with his missus, his current missus, and whenever she needs me or something's not right, I won't go into too much detail, but she'll call me at any point. And I've always said to her, if something happens to me, I'm glad that, you know, he can have a stepmom like you there, you know. We've always had that respect, that mutual respect. And I think you should.
There we go.
But did you read recently, what's my brother, he said there was something, I haven't read it, so I don't know the ins and outs, but it's been scientifically proven, something about fathers being around for children makes for a better child, basically. It's like so important, and they do more good. I don't know the ins and outs, so I probably should shut up because I don't actually know the evidence. I've not read it, but there's something about the importance of fathers, and actually even though women bring the nurturing side, fathers are actually a more important role or something, it was saying in this article that my brother read.
Well, Amber, have you seen Kevin Hart's stand-up show?
No, but I love Kevin Hart. I should probably watch that.
He says that
he's so funny.
Mom, now this is from his show. Please don't take this personally. Moms are really boring. Moms are really boring. They're not fun. Moms are. They're not. Have you ever heard the child come and go, "Can't wait to get home to play with mum"? It's always can't go wait to get play with dad. But
we are boring. We really, because I don't know,
because
dads bring a sense of adventure and fun and boyish, and
mums are the disciplinarians. Mums are the ones that keep the roof down. Mums are the ones that make sure things run like clockwork. So this is in every marriage, mums keep everything together. So if the kids want to go, oh, let's not go to mum, she'll be like, no, school, let's go to that. Dads are shit. Dads are like,
no, they're not, because they're needed. You bring trust, and
there's a kind of coke.
Trust.
Yes, I know, but we're like, usually like, he needs to eat this, he needs to do this, she needs to brush his teeth. Dads are like, there's a can of coke, don't tell your mum. That's what dads do. They do.
I love that though. I think that's funny because it keeps the child like, you know, his mum's doing the washing, or I'm going generic.
Yeah.
Because people do old school. I know couples nowadays is like mutual, but you know, that is the role you play, isn't it? The nurturing side, that go to bed, the bedtime story, whereas that like, let's not have a bedtime story. Let's go and jump in a river.
Oh yeah. Well, those days are gone. I mean, when I used to go out playing as a kid, I'd go out 9 o'clock in the morning, come back at 9 o'clock at night, only turn up for meals. Nowadays, the world's too dangerous. You have to I mean, your kids make sure your mobile phone's charged, make sure you've got money, make sure you come back. There's too much going on now. And I don't go down the road as a multicultural society now, but there's just so much danger now that parents worry non-stop about their kids. They can't help it.
There is a lot. I do remember those days. You just go in and have your dinner, and somehow you knew it was dinner just by when it started to get dark. You'd be like, oh, now it's time to go in or go and have dinner. You didn't have your phone check it, and you'd just be like, it's time to go in, and then I'll be off out again.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Weird, right?
Yeah. Right. Well, I want to ask you about your new edition, the new series book. When's that available for people? Yeah, when's that going to be available?
Next week, the 14th, Valentine's Day.
Oh, right. Okay. Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You doing anything special for Valentine's Day?
Actually, I've got a funeral the day before, so I'm up north. Unfortunately, but yeah, so I'll be driving back home.
I know.
Nothing exciting, but yeah, maybe I have thought about taking me, because me and my boy are obviously going to the funeral. I thought maybe we can go and spend a day in the Peak or something while we're up north. Go and sit in the hills.
Well, sometimes that's nice, peaceful. At least you're with the most important person in your life that day. That's good.
Exactly. We might as well take advantage while we're up north, and just explore a little bit. That's why it's a little holiday. I'm single as well, so I don't have, and I don't want to be dating anyone right now either, actually.
You're very
I haven't got
busy.
time.
Well, you've got a lot going on, haven't you? What you do need, though, is I'm hoping, in the description, I'll send me the link, your link, so people can buy your book. I'll put it in the description. And
yes, I will send that.
I also want, hopefully, excuse me, hopefully we can get a few people across to subscribe to your YouTube channel, and we can start moving that towards monetization. And it helps put
that'd be cool.
Well, it helps put a few pounds in your pocket. You might as well, you know.
Well, I would like that, because I actually want to, in the end up getting a house. I want to buy my own house for, fingers crossed, instead of renting, because renting is just steep, isn't it?
Well, yeah. Well, I'm renting at the minute as well. Since I was separated from the ex-wife, clearly renting's okay. I mean, if I have a problem with the house, I phone up the landlord, and he's fantastic. Things come out, sorted out, brilliant. And he hasn't put the rent up in 4 years.
Oh, that's good.
Well, he's a decent guy. He's a decent guy, yeah. If he did put the rent up...
That's a good thing with renting. You can... Something goes wrong in the house. Please help me.
Well, if he did put the rent up, he would be very well justified to do it. I wouldn't moan, But we're just very lucky where we are. So I need the link. We need to promote your YouTube channel. We need to get people across to support it. You need to also get all your
group as well. That's the charity.
Helping homeless veterans. Yes, I've got a picture of that logo on the thumbnail of this video, actually.
I've seen that. I love that. What a great picture you chose.
Well, what I do is I just let people know I'm doing a podcast at a certain time, so people will come and watch. And then a few minutes before I go live, I then upload the proper picture on it, and then people see it. This way, Amber, I've learned this. This way, if I had have advertised you coming on yesterday, and this is a fact, you would have been trolled all night by idiots. So I don't do it. It just takes the pressure off people.
Do you know, because my Facebook, obviously, that's my main one where people approach me. Sometimes I get that my inbox can be pretty intense, but I have to go, like my manager from Film Vault Group, who I'm doing some presenting and stuff with next year, because he's actually doing a program next year for our charity, well, for homeless veterans. And that's going to be quite interesting. I'm presenting on that. That's in support of homeless veterans with Film Vault Group. That's really interesting. That's going to be an interesting watch. And there's a few celebrities in there as well, so that's going to be quite cool.
Well, good. I mean, we need to. At the end of the day, helping homeless veterans couldn't do it vast for a better ambassador for their charity. So it's great that you're doing it. You've seen everything firsthand, and you'll go from strength to strength. I'm looking forward to the other editions of your book. I really am.
5. You'll have to send me your poem to put in one of the
editions. Yeah. I mean, it's not great. It's just something I made up in a sanger.
You'll be surprised at how good it actually is, because those are the best poems. I mean, if anyone out there watching this has got a poem, just inbox me and send it me. And if you want, like, veteran wise, obviously, or veterans families, so wives, partners, or siblings, because I love to see their aspect. Some of the best poems I've read are ones like yourself, where you've just done in a sanger, where they're so authentic. They're not thought about too much. It's just real.
Do you want to hear it?
Yes, I would love to hear it. Yes, please.
Here, now, I'm going to get slagged for this. Here we go.
No, you won't.
Standing by the roadside, fear is in the air. Provost waiting, watching me. My mind is in despair. Trying to do the job I'm taught, but Ulster still says no. Provost, Sinn Féin, Ireland, they just won't let us go. They know the British soldier, we're out now on the ground, and if they cross us, and they will, they'll surely be shut down.
That's really good.
I made that up. 1995.
That's impressive. Wow. And you think that's shocking? That's good.
It's stuff that you just make up on the spot, isn't it?
How real is that, though?
Well,
I know
yeah,
we're perfectionists, we're soldiers, we're never, anything we do, like deep down, we're perfectionists. So anything we do personally is never good enough, right? We judge our own work. So you won't see what for your own words. You'll be picking at it. But I think that's really bloody good.
I think with most guys and girls I've worked with, if you're in a situation and there's things happening and you're having things coming in, you try and make sense of it all. And sometimes just
yes.
Sometimes a poem or a couple of verses, you can make it. You start to make sense of what's happening around you.
Healing with words.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Yes.
You've been a guiding star. You've been a guiding star today.
So anybody, if you're stressed, what they say paint something, write something, express it, because it'll help you understand it, and that's the beginning to the journey of healing.
Well, thank you. Well, listen, we've done over an hour. I know that podcasts, whenever you start to go an hour and a half, 2 hours, people start to drift off. So I'm now going to go and do a little bit of stuff. I need to get on Instagram, on our private messages, can you send me your link? And I'm going to start to do things around here. And I would like to get you on again one day and have a chat with you, because, I mean,
we've got so much more to talk about.
Yeah, I know. We can talk for a couple of hours, but I'm always conscious of, I've learned through the PTSD side of things, people's concentration and spans go. So we'll have another one of these, which I'm already looking forward to. And
I'll put my Facebook link in the comments somewhere as well, so people can reach me through there, because that's where if they need help or support for homeless veterans, Facebook is my page.
Don't wait till this ends, because then it goes, then all these comments will disappear, believe it or not, whenever that goes onto the YouTube channel.
I can't see them.
Can you not? Well, everyone's, you're getting...
unless I press that.
You're getting a lot.
You press comments.
Yes,
sorry,
you press
technology.
Comments. You press comments. Oh, Jesus.
I never knew it was
there. Every day's a school day.
I've got a lot to learn.
You'll get there. Listen, Amber, thank you for coming on. I do appreciate it. We'll get the links. We'll get it set out. We'll start getting everyone to go across and try and lift your channel up and start putting some money in your pocket for monetization.
Thank you. Brandon will love that. He'll want a new toy or something.
Oh, yes. Well, exactly. Why not? Well, listen, have a wonderful day. Keep up the work with helping homeless veterans. You're a 100%. Great ambassador. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. You're welcome. Such a pleasure.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye, darling. Thank you. Bye, 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 bye.